My name is Daniel Yakubu. I am 27 years old. The day everything happened was August 14th, 2021. That was the day members of the Taliban hunted me, shot me 20 times, and left me on the ground believing my life was over. But that was not the end of my story. I was born into a simple Christian family. My father was a school teacher. My mother sold vegetables in the local market. We were not rich, but we had peace in our home. Every morning, my father would gather us together before school and speak about faith, honesty, and courage. He showed me that education was a gift that no one could steal. I studied hard as a child. I loved books. I finished secondary school with good grades and later attended a small college where I studied community development. My dream was simple. I wanted to help young people learn skills so they would not be forced into violence. I lived a quiet life. I worked with a small local group that supported widows and children affected by conflict. We gave them food, basic education, and hope. I believed helping people was part of serving God, but the place where I lived was controlled by fear. The Taliban ruled many areas with strict laws. They did not accept anyone who openly shared Christian faith. They did not like people who helped communities in ways they could not control. They watched everything. They listened to whispers. They searched for anyone they believed was spreading a different belief. At first, the persecution was small but painful. Men began to follow me after meetings. Neighbors stopped greeting my family. One afternoon, a man approached me on the road. He warned me that I was being watched. He explained that some leaders believed I was influencing young people away from their religion. He showed me with his serious face that the danger was real. Soon, threats became open. Armed men visited my father's house. They searched our rooms. They threw our books on the floor. One of them told my father that I was betraying their law. He revealed that if I did not stop my activities, I would face serious punishment. My mother cried quietly that night. My father tried to remain strong, but I could see fear in his eyes. He advised me to be careful. He reminded me that courage does not mean foolishness. But I continued helping people. I reduced my movements. I avoided public preaching. I focused only on humanitarian work. I believed kindness would protect me. I believed if I did no harm would come to me. I was wrong. One evening, after finishing a small training session with teenagers, I noticed 2 motorcycles following me. My heart began to beat fast. I tried to walk calmly. I prayed silently inside my chest. Suddenly, a truck blocked the narrow road ahead of me. Men with covered faces jumped down. They carried guns. Their eyes were hard and cold. One of them pushed me to the ground. Another accused me of spreading a forbidden faith. He revealed that I had been warned before. He explained that this was the price for disobedience. They did not take me to court. They did not ask questions. They decided my fate on that dusty road. They beat me first. The blows landed on my back, my ribs, my face. I tasted blood in my mouth. My ears rang loudly. I tried to breathe, but fear made the air feel heavy. People watched from far away, but no one came close. Everyone was afraid. One of the men lifted his weapon. I remember thinking about my parents. I remember thinking about the children I had taught earlier that day. I remember feeling deep sadness, not because I was dying, but because hatred had grown so strong in the hearts of men. Then the shooting began. The sound was loud and endless. My body felt like it was being hit by burning stones. I could not count the bullets. I could not scream. My body became weak and cold. When they finished, they left me there. They believed I was dead. The dust settled around me. The sky above looked strangely peaceful. I could not move. I could not speak. My vision was fading. That was the moment when my old life ended, and that was the moment when something beyond human strength began. Some moments feel like the world has forgotten you. The air becomes heavy. Your heart races. Every sound is a threat. That was the moment I believed my life had ended. I remember the heat of that road. Dust rose around me. My body was flat on the ground. Pain burned in every part of me. My clothes were soaked with blood. I could barely feel my arms. My legs would not move. They had shot me 20 times. I could not understand why they hated me so much. I could see their shadows moving away, believing I was gone. My ears still rang with the echoes of the gunfire. The silence afterward was heavy. Birds moved quietly. A small dog barked somewhere far, but the world seemed frozen. I tried to breathe, but each inhale was like fire in my chest. Every heartbeat reminded me that my life was hanging by a thread. I thought of my family, my mother who showed me love through quiet tears, my father who taught me courage with gentle words. He had revealed to me once that bravery is not the absence of fear, but standing even when fear is stronger. That memory filled me with a strange hope. I could not move, but I prayed silently. I prayed without words. I asked for help, for life, for mercy. The pain was unbearable, but something inside me refused to give up. Time seemed endless. I could not tell minutes from hours. Each second was heavy. I felt cold and alone. The dust clung to my skin. My body trembled. But even in that misery, I felt the first faint touch of something I could not explain. Something gentle, something protective. That moment was the turning point, the moment when death thought it had won, but heaven had other plans. Some moments feel impossible to survive. Some nights feel darker than the grave. That was the night I realized I was not alone, even when the world had abandoned me. I lay on the dusty road. My body was broken, my clothes wet with blood. My chest felt like it could no longer hold air. My eyes could barely open. The shadows of the men who shot me were gone, but the fear they left behind was still heavy in the air. I could feel the weight of death pressing down, and yet something else touched me, something soft, something invisible, like a shield wrapping around my body. I felt a strange calm. My fear did not vanish completely, but it became smaller, like it had no power over me. I saw small movements around me that no one else could explain. The birds stopped and stared. The wind shifted without reason. I felt hands lifting me, not human hands, gentle and strong at the same time. Pain was still there, but it became bearable, as if something was holding me together. I remembered my mother's words, even though she had long passed. She had shown me faith through her quiet prayers. That memory gave me courage. I realized that something greater than men, greater than bullets, had stepped into the battlefield. I could not move, yet I could feel life returning to my body. My eyes slowly focused. The pain was still sharp, but not enough to pull me into darkness. I felt protected, watched over, guided toward survival. Even when everything seemed lost, I was alive, not because of strength, not because of chance, but because something beyond this world refused to let me die. Some days feel like the world has forgotten your name. Some nights feel like death has already claimed you. But I woke up, I woke up when no one expected it, and in that moment I realized my life was not mine alone. It was for a purpose greater than I could ever understand. I remember the first moment I opened my eyes. Everything hurt. Every breath felt heavy. My body was weak. I could not move my arms. My legs were numb. My clothes were torn. Blood had dried on my skin. The dirt of the road was still stuck to me. My head throbbed. My chest burned. But I was alive. I could hear voices, soft, careful voices. Someone had found me. They carried me slowly, gently to a small hidden room. I could feel hands cleaning my wounds, warm water, soft cloths, herbs pressed onto my skin. They showed me care even when danger was near. I realized that some people risked everything to help me. I thought of the bullets, 20 of them, and how my body should have stopped. I thought of the faces of the men who shot me, cold and full of hate. Their cruelty was clear. They hated me because I chose faith, because I chose to help the weak, because I chose to follow God instead of fear. The pain was not only in my body, it was in my heart. I felt sorrow for my parents, for the children I had taught, for every innocent person who had been afraid to pray openly. The world was harsh, and the punishment for following God was cruel. I understood the weight of persecution, not as an idea, but as a living, breathing reality. Days passed slowly. Every movement was agony. Every sound was sharp. I could feel fever running through me. But even in the weakness, I felt life returning. I felt the first small spark of strength. My hands could move. My eyes could focus. My heart could beat without agony. I remembered my father's lessons long ago. He had revealed to me that faith is strongest when the body is weakest. He had shown me that courage is measured not by the absence of fear, but by continuing even when fear is overwhelming. I held on to those lessons like a rope in a storm. When I finally stood, I realized that survival was not a gift to enjoy alone. It was a gift to share. I would speak for those who could not. I would pray for those who were hunted. I would carry hope to the ones who believed darkness had claimed them. I want Christians everywhere to hear this. Pray for those who are persecuted for their faith. Pray for the children who cannot speak. Pray for the families who have lost everything. And if you have wandered away, if your heart feels heavy with sin, remember that God's mercy is greater than your mistakes. A simple prayer of repentance, a heart that turns back to Him, can bring salvation and peace. I whispered that prayer myself again and again as I healed. I invited God into every broken part of me, and through that I realized that even in the midst of pain, even when the world seems cruel, faith can shine. I survived not by chance, not by my own strength, but because God sent His angels, His mercy, and His love to carry me through the darkest night. And now I live for a purpose, to remind the world that love is stronger than hate, that faith is stronger than fear, and that every life, even when hunted, is precious, protected, and meant to shine.